Hey everybody, this is Tyler Dockery, and today I've been kind of unceremoniously told to get into this hallway, so we're going to take advantage of this time. Today we're going to be talking about goals and how that kind of affects us. So the first thing that we're trying to do here today is thinking about our personal and normal goals. Goals are dreams with a timeline, if you want to get all super corny about it, but goals are items that you are trying to get towards. Within the business environment and when I am dealing with students, I will often say, where are you now? Where are you trying to get to? What is it going to take to get there? And this is a good way for us to focus on goals and focus on the end result of all of our materials. How are we going to get to what we're looking for? So a lot of the goals that we have as we are moving through life, we have personal goals, we have professional goals, we might have relationship goals. And a lot in America, most of us focus on professional goals. We don't take a lot of vacations. We don't take a lot of breaks. We hope to retire and have some kind of a retirement that is a great relief from spending all that time. Much like we focus on physical gifts rather than something experiential that we can look back with our memories and think about. So when I think about my goals that I have, early in my career they were ambition based, and I wanted to have a better title, make more money, live in a different place, do a different thing, make sure that I was constantly on the way up, move from doing into management. And what I have found over time is that's not always as fulfilling as you might think that it is. As a designer, becoming an assistant and then a designer and then a graphic designer and then a project manager and then an art director and a production manager, becoming a partner in a design firm, then a senior partner, then breaking away and opening my own design firm, moving into freelance work and consulting. A lot of these steps seem like they're the big goal, but they're actually not. My goal had always been to teach, and as soon as I got that, it took a little while for me to figure out that I had actually arrived. With working in any kind of a trade, the higher up you get in a system, the less you actually do. As an assistant, I would work all the time. As a designer, I would work all the time. When I got into a senior graphic designer position, I didn't work as much. Mainly, I would meet with clients and bring those ideas to the table. When I would find myself in a situation where I moved up into project management, I didn't do any work at all. I was on the phone almost all day, every day. And so I got somewhat divorced. Moving into art direction, I could dictate what type of work I wanted to do and train my designers and hire the right people who could do what I wanted to do. But then as I moved up into creative directors, I would only talk to other art directors. When I moved into production management, I would only talk to project managers and art directors, and I wouldn't actually do as much work as I really wanted to. I could set the pace. I could have the bigger creative decisions. I could point the company where I wanted to go. Moving into positions of doing a freelance work, it was great, but I had to spend a lot of my time running down business and demanding payments. When I became part of a partner opportunity and then became a senior partner within a design group and running my own business and having that firm, it was more about, okay, you're going to take on this debt, you're going to be part of this group, you're going to get as much of the, like a percentage of these profits, but then you need to bring business in. These clients are yours. And it was more about pursuing the big companies that were going to take my vision and really allow me to run with that. As a teacher, I talk to individuals, I help them, I find out what their goals are and push them on their way. And, the ones who really listen, who take that advice to heart, they shoot off and end up getting great jobs. Students who say, oh, it was too negative. I only heard how I could change and improve. It was all about growth. It was all about being professional. It was all about trying to make sure an art director or a manager somewhere could see how good my work was. It wasn't about what a nice person I was, or it wasn't about this was the best work that I could have possibly produced. Why didn't you spend a page telling me how good I am? Why did you spend 3 pages telling me how to get better? Those students run into problems and they don't go very far. It's a real problem. When it comes to my personal goals, they're almost always in flux. There's a really good plan that you can take into play, which is that when you get up in the morning, write down 10 things that you want to do. Don't write them in a future tense. Write them in a tense that you do it right now. I hold steady at 225 pounds. I have helped my children get into college. I have purchased the item that I wanted for Christmas. I have paid off my house. And when you've got a list of those 10 things, look at the list and say to yourself, which of these 10 things can I make a positive effect on today? And then go and do that thing. Personal goals are about trying to get to the place that you want to get to. And they're not as easy as you might think. But while for a long time my personal goals were about moving up into these higher pay categories, over time I realized that while there is a lot more money in some of these positions, there's also a lot more time and trouble. More money, more problems. What can I tell you? Second question we've got here, do you put your hopes and dreams on social media? Nope. I don't play with social media at all. Again, it always seems to be something about some people that I don't know, some people that I talked to in the past, their grandchildren or their children, and I don't really care about any of that stuff. For anybody that I have gotten in touch with, I've always made sure to give them my cell phone number or my email and just told them to reach out to me directly. That is still where I would like to be. Talk about owning a home. Oh gosh, owning a home is fantastic, but there's always something for you to do. In the year 2002, I bought this home for $110,000. It's probably worth 4 times as much these days, but I didn't know how to do any electrical work, and now I am whatever it is when you become when you move on from a journeyman. I've rewired this entire house, and I feel very comfortable with that. I have done numerous amounts of electrical work that have all been passed as part of the permitting process. I never knew how to do anything with plumbing, and I have rebuilt bathrooms, installed sinks and toilets, done rough-in, and done an entire installation in this bathroom and the other bathroom and shower on the other side of this house, and I'm responsible for all that and going through the permitting process. I do tons of drywall and painting work. I'm not very good at drywall. And some finished carpentry. I'm not very good at finished carpentry. But there's always something to do. I am the worst at landscape work. You may not know this, but me and the sun don't get along too well. And so when it comes to working outside and making sure that like the landscape is well taken care of, that's a straight up bust. Which always makes it hard when trying to determine curb appeal. But owning a home is great. It's a good opportunity. One of the things about land is they're just not making any more of it. So if you see a really good opportunity out there, you should hop on top of it. But it is not easy to get in touch with people. Who are they? Where are they at? What's their phone numbers? How do you contact them? There's no way. There's no way to find that information. Talking about setting goals. Setting goals are important. Again, it's really a personal thing. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What is it going to take for you to get there? Those are the kinds of questions you should be asking yourself repeatedly, early, and often. Revisit those items. One of the things that I found several years ago was putting together a list which I taped over my monitor, so every day when I wanted to get it, I had to push it out of the way, or every time I needed to adjust my monitor, I would set it back over the front. Personal goals, setting goals, it's a really important part of who you are. It helps drive that growth and development. So if you haven't thought about it, do consider setting some goals today. Try to think about where you want to be. Again, writing down those 10 items and say, you know, what is it that I really want to do? I really want to pay off this mortgage. Okay. Well, how can you make sure that you are going to stay in your job no matter what happens? How can you make sure that you are in a spot where you might get a raise? How can you make sure that if there's an opportunity for freelance work, you're ready? How can you make sure that you are using the best credit cards, that you're buying the best stuff? Can there some things or some ways you can save money? Look at what your real goals are and then start pushing towards it. One of my goals here, at one time my goal was to have my supervisor's job, and over time I just came to decide I really don't want that. I just want to stay where I am until retirement. That was a pretty sad day for me, but it was also pretty happy when I realized that I had been shooting to get to a location and I made it. And I had been sitting in that location for almost 16 years when I determined that I was happy. So that was a nice thing. So now what do I do with that? I'm just trying to run out the clock? No, I still want to make sure that I can, distinguish myself. Like being able to talk directly to a camera so that I don't feel like I'm all alone out there. Or that my online students don't feel like that they're all alone. That's kind of where I am. Think about your goals. Think about what it's going to take for you to get where you want to be, and start moving towards it just a little bit at a time. One of the hard parts with having a goal is that every day you're making a little bit of progress over and over and over again, but when you take a chance and look back, it's only then that you realize just how far you've come. So go ahead, set those goals today. See where you are with your last set of goals if you wrote them down. If not, start a set, think about it. In the doobly-doo below, you'll find a link to my 30-day challenge list for speaking to the camera, and I urge you, if you're even thinking about it, go ahead and download it now. Just go there, make a copy, download it. There's no reason why you should have to pay hundreds of dollars for this when it's being given to you. Think about it. Give me a like, subscribe so you see when something new comes popping up in my feed, and thank you so very much. Again, thumbs up if I'm doing well, thumbs down if I'm doing poorly, but tell me why so I can improve. Thank you so very much, and I appreciate you. By all means, design your future.